Good evening again, everybody. Welcome to Titan Avenger Gaming. We are here for the second special episode of The Last of Us Part 2. Lawdog Avenger Gaming has been playing it, and I've streamed it already. He's been streaming it, kind of going through the whole story, the tear-jerking moments. So, Ross, when we left you last time, of course, same thing like me. You were left at the scary moment where you had a little four-legged or creature that walks on four legs just kind of appear and is crawling towards you. Like, again, that was kind of a scary moment. So I'm going to let you kind of go from there and tell us how the rest of the story kind of plays out.
All right. So disclaimer, just like we said last time, if you're listening to this past, or in the future or right now, and you don't want spoilers, turn it off. Because we have both finished the game, we both played it through, and that's what we're here to talk about. The emotional roller coaster that it was and is. I literally just didn't know how to feel. Like, especially towards the end, I didn't know who was the good guy and who was the bad guy.
So let's go into that. So you were telling me right before we went on air, after you see the creatures, you're going after Nora, which is one of Abby's friends. And for some of y'all that haven't played the game or didn't listen to the first podcast, the game starts out, give you a quick rundown. I'm not going over the first one. You need to go play the first one or listen to the podcast. But the game starts out where you're Joel and you're Ellie, and you kind of revisiting on things that have happened in the last few years. And then you play this character called Abby, and she runs into Joel and Tommy after being chased by some creatures. And then it turns into Joel and Tommy being suckered in to this cabin. Abby ends up beating him to death. And then Ellie runs in on him, sees it. Now she seeks revenge, which is what we've seen in all the trailers about. She's going to kill them, every last one of them. And we talked about that. And now Ellie's on her way to find Abby with some of her friends because she wants revenge. So that's where we're at. So now she's kind of trying to track down Abby, and she's going through one by one trying to find all of Abby's friends, or that's who she's running into, and trying to get information from there. So, Ross, take over.
Yeah. So, like I said, Ellie is on a revenge path, but she has no idea why Abby and her friends killed Joel. She has no idea who the Washington Liberation Front is. They don't know what the purpose is, what they're doing. All she knows is they killed Joel. They got to pay.
Because Joel's her father, pretty much.
Pretty much. And right there at the end, or closer to the end, you find out that Joel tells Ellie the truth about the fact that he prevented her death and essentially prevented the vaccine for the infection from going forward. And spoiler alert here, at the end of The Last of Us, you walk into that room and you kill everybody inside the doctor's room, the operating room. And in my case, I lit the guy on fire. You can shoot him, but in the flashback scenes in The Last of Us 2, he's shot. Okay, so it doesn't carry over, it doesn't, it doesn't burn alive or anything like that. Well, it turns out that the doctor that was the only doctor that could perform that operation on Ellie and manufacture a vaccine was Abby's father, who Joel killed to protect Ellie. Of course, Joel lied to Ellie and told her that there was many people who were immune. They have all, but they found out they can't manufacture a cure. They can't. It's over with. They're disbanding. They're not even gonna try anymore. So let's just get on with our lives, right? But Ellie doesn't know. Ellie knows that, but she doesn't know the fact that Joel killed Abby's dad, who was the doctor. So all she knows is these people were there. They killed Joel in a very brutal fashion, and now they've got to pay. And Tommy was the one who headed out first. So Tommy was on the warpath. Her and Dina and essentially Jesse, they don't meet up with Jesse until a little later on, are going out to look for Tommy. And once you find out,
which is kind of, because even though Abby's going out, it's kind of like she's just tracking Tommy's footsteps in a way. You know what I mean? Because there's a couple places they come across and there's fresh killings. And I think one of the scenes they were like, do you think this is the work of Tommy? So it's kind of like Ellie's just a step behind and Tommy's getting there first. Even though it's Ellie's revenge, it's like there's a different story that we're not even seeing with Tommy's experience.
Yeah. And because, the sniper that you're trying to get on the bridge, you're trying, after you've met, I don't know if you've met Lev, and you're trying to get to the boat dock, because Lev is going back to his village to try to get his mom, and then you're with his sister. And
let's stop right here. And this is where the entire story veers off, because now you're in the role of Abby.
Yeah.
And you have went, what, like a few weeks? Is it a few weeks or a few months? Like in the past? Because you're kind of reliving everything you just relived with Abby for everything the mess, or with Ellie. Because now you're going to catch back up with her time.
Really, it's just a few days.
So it is a few days. Okay.
Yeah, Seattle.
Because what happened was Ellie ends up catching up with who was her boyfriend?
Owen.
Abby's ex-boyfriend, Owen, who is in a relationship
with a pregnant male.
And has male. And so there's which you find out later, there's a lot of tension between that. But she ends up finding them in this aquarium, wasn't it? One of the Seattle aquarium, and ends up killing them and stuff. And then also now you have backtrack a few days to Abby and her group getting together, and establishing what they're going to do. Again, like we talked about before, there's the WLF, there's the Seraphites, there's the Fireflies. Like there's a bunch of different groups that are trying to do the same thing, but they all hate each other for some reason.
Yeah.
They all have their own beliefs, And so what you're talking about, Abby meets up with this was it Yara?
Yeah, Yara and
Lev. And she kind of gets Abby's this tough little macho girl, and she kind of gets a soft heart and ends up wanting to save them. And that's kind of one of the titles, or one of the little things you had on your Facebook post, was about Abby going AWOL. So go ahead. We're on the bridge, and
so backtrack just a little bit, or not really backtrack, just to point this out. Abby, when you're playing as Abby, you're playing through her part of the storyline which is essentially is happening the exact same time Ellie is in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because as soon as you get to that point, and Abby Burt, she busts into the movie theater. She's shot Jesse in the face. She's got Tommy pinned down. You don't even see Lev. I don't know if you. I don't even remember seeing Lev there, but Lev was in the movie theater with Abby. But anyway, so then as soon as that happens, you play through Ellie's part of the storyline, and then you play Abby's storyline. And that's what I was talking about. You get to the part where you're basically pinned down by the sniper, and I thought at first it was a Seraphite. I was like, well, it's just really awesome shot from a Seraphite guy. You're gonna get through there, and as you get closer, you realize, especially when you get to I guess it was like a bus terminal or something. I don't really know what it was, but you basically got him pinned down, and you realize that dude's in place. Like, that's Tommy. That's Tommy trying to snipe Abby and Manny.
Yeah.
And then you get close enough to him, and you have a fight with him and knock him off the pier. That kind of surprised me a little bit. I was like, holy crap, that's Tommy. That's Tommy who's shooting him. But I really did like that aspect of the game where you played as Ellie and you played as Abby. And that is where, when you start playing with Abby, that's where the emotional, crossroads comes in.
So let's fast forward to the end. So like you said, Abby is kind of got this little person. She's kind of, in a way, she's kind of like Joel, and Lev is another Ellie, and she's trying to help Lev get over this situation. I was watching the one where they went back there and the person went crazy, and Lev accidentally was trying to defend themselves, and the person got hurt and killed, and accidentally killed his mother in self-defense, and so they have to leave while there's all that war going on.
Yeah.
And so Abby's betraying her WOF.
Yeah.
And it says, then they end up going. So when they return back to Seattle, to the aquarium, that's when you now are in present day.
Yeah.
Of where we left off with Ellie. And you see that Owen and Mel are dead. And then you see a map that Ellie left. I remember that. Mm-hmm. And so then you go on and you find the hideout. Abby shoots Tommy. And it just and didn't kill him.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was actually really surprised when, fast forward a little bit, you're back in close to Jackson. They've got her and Dina have got their own house, and then she's walking up. She's like, "Oh, who?" She sees that horse tied up.
Yeah. Well, here before we get into that, because I was going to lead into that. So now Ellie and Dina are fighting it out with Abby. Well, you're Abby fighting Ellie.
I know.
So here's my thing. you do have somewhat of a friend in Mel, and Ellie didn't know she was pregnant, right? Or it was accident. What was it? Because she felt bad. She actually felt bad.
I don't think she knew, because she didn't see it until she opened up her jacket.
Yeah.
Didn't see that she was pregnant.
But now you're Abby. You've kind of went through this whole story with her, and you're kind of on the fence with her. You're like, well, yeah, she's upset. Her dad was the guy who Joel killed and could have saved everything. So it is Joel's fault. He did lie. You are kind of upset there. But now when you think about only her side of the story, you see your ex who you had relations with.
Yeah.
And you saw that scene. And that was one thing I was going to talk to you about last episode. I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, yeah, so it's just going to be like one of these scenes. We know what happens. And then I saw things, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so this is my first. And then something else happened. I was like, oh, wow, this game got really really, really quick.
Yeah,
And so
it got adult really fast.
yes, and
Of course, that you know, and it's an adult game. Don't get
oh
me
yeah,
wrong,
it is.
because the language in it, the violence that's in it,
Oh yeah,
you know, that those few scenes, you know, really just that scene.
yeah. And
You
so
know,
like you're Ellie, or you were Ellie, and now you're Abby, and you were Ellie last game, so you bonded with Ellie, and all you want is the revenge. But now you're fighting, and I didn't know how to feel that I'm actually beating Ellie to death, and Ellie's trying to kill me. Like I did not know what to think, and
no,
so
bro, me too, man. Me
anyway,
too.
like I'm thinking I'm fixing to kill Ellie. I thought I'm fixing to get that thing, and Ellie's gonna be laying there. It's gonna have one button for like one more punch or something. There's gonna be like a cut scene, and she's just gonna beat Ellie to death. And then Lev comes out of the woodwork and kind of says, "Let's go," kind of thing.
Yeah, because he was about to kill Dina, and I
Yeah,
knew that too. I was like, Dina's going to come in here in any minute now. So at some point, Dina's going to have to show up, and she did.
yeah.
But
And so
it
they
was when,
go ahead.
yeah, like I'm with you, dude. Like I didn't know how to feel, because the Last of Us and The Last of Us Part Two, you know, you're playing as Ellie, man. You fall, you know, Ellie and Joel, you know, that's the characters, and then you fall in love with them. Like you watch them grow, watch them mature, you watch them get closer together, because Ellie has become the daughter he lost, and now you're playing as Abby, and you've got to fight Ellie. Like Ellie becomes a boss character,
Well, yeah, and like
and it's like, wait. And I sat there playing. I was like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to play as Abby to
I don't want to
beat
be
up
the one to
Ellie.
kill Ellie.
Yeah, I just like I don't want to kill Ellie, and but I knew I had to. I was like, I got to for one to progress in the game, and I was like, but there's something more to this, and
Well, I thought for a while was like, when am I going to switch back to Ellie? Yeah, I thought that for a while. I'm like, what? And then finally it hit me. I'm like, there's got to be something behind this Abby storyline. And then also I found, when it started progressing, I started going, like I've said, I'm like, oh, wow. But so, then it goes on, Abby goes back to their thing. And then you see, here's what you're talking about. You see Ellie and Dina are on the farm and they're racing the kid that Dina had. And see, I didn't know what was going to happen. There was one time Ellie had to go to the barn or something to feed animals, and she has a flashback. And I thought somebody was going to attack there. I thought she's going to have like a scene or something, and then like you're going to see like she's going to be surrounded all across the mountains or something by that group. Is what I thought, but she was just having.
I kept expecting her. Maybe it's like, maybe she's going to walk in the house and Abby's going to be in there holding Dina.
I thought that too.
I was like,
yeah, I thought that too. Abby was going to be sitting there holding the baby or something, that kind of thing, like patting her, and you see her turn around or something. And then when the horse was going on, I thought that was Abby. And then also
like you said, too, like
I was thinking, is the game really ending? Like, is the game over? And then, like you said, this is what you had talked about. Then it's Tommy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was my last hope with Joel. I was like, he's still alive, because I didn't really know yet if he was going to bleed out or whatever.
I think he lost an eye.
Yeah, I think he had some kind of impairment.
Yeah, limp. I think he was walking with a limp, and I think he lost an eye. But I was happy to see that. I was like, oh, Tommy didn't die. I was like, she shot him in the head. And like that emotional roller coaster, because when you start playing as Abby and you start getting this information, you start figuring out, oh, this was the cause and now it's the effect that's going on. That I was like, I probably would feel the same way. She has no idea who Joel is. She has no idea why she killed. I think she does know at this point, but you had that flashback. She walks in and her father's laying there shot, and they're fireflies, and it's pretty easy to figure out get information about what happened. So I'm sure Abby would know, obviously knew Joel brought Ellie to the Fireflies because she was immune or something of that nature.
And now for several years, they've been looking for them to find out where they're at.
Yeah, they find them, and it isn't until later on you figure out she wants revenge because Joel killed her dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I would feel the same way.
Well, yeah.
Like, I don't know you. I don't know what your intention, why you killed my dad. I just know you did, and you have to pay for that. So then killing Joel.
Well, and on the top of the fact that your dad was trying to prevent this cure or trying to make this cure.
Yeah. And, Ellie figures that out and confronts Joel and basically says the same thing. Like, I could, like millions of lives could have been saved on behalf of me, and you prevented that. And but so one line, but Ellie's life would meant more to Joel than a cure did.
Yeah.
Still, like if I was an Abby, like I said, if I was in Abby's shoes, I would feel the exact same way that Ellie felt.
Well, you've been building up anger for all those years, and you are so blind to it, you really don't care what Ellie's point of view or even Joel's point of view is. All those years you've had on your mind what you're going to do when you find Joel. Where Ellie's just in a little time period, not over all these years. It's just, she's just like, I'm going to go get him, if I even die. But Abby's like, I'm getting a team together. This is what we're going to do. We're going to try to find her. We're going to scout them. Because, she's been scouting that they've been going through these certain trails every other day. And these are the people with them. And so, but so when Tommy comes up and says, I got whereabouts, and Dina kind of talks away from it, I still don't thought that was the end of the game. For some reason, I thought that was the end of the game. And I was like, oh, they're setting up for part 3. Okay. And, and then you see that Abby and Lev end up finding some kind of radio and getting in touch with somebody saying, oh, yeah, we're on Catalina Island. Well, then the Rattlers, when it the Rattlers that were on that island, they kidnap them, and so you don't know what's happened to them now. Pretty much, you just know they're captured, and now you're Ellie. You found Ellie ends up sneaking out in the middle of the night because it's still on her mind. This will probably help her PTSD that's going on in her head. And she wants revenge for Tommy. She wants revenge for herself. She wants revenge. She just got her butt beat. She did not get her revenge she wanted.
Yeah.
And so she goes to Santa Barbara to go find Abby and them. And you go through this whole compound pretty much. And then you find some prisoners, and they said, oh, I know the people you're looking for. They're down by the beach or wherever it was. And you go down there and you see all these bodies that are kind of like being crucified.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going around thinking, well, she's dead. Well, all of a sudden, I forgot what led to it. All of a sudden, you see her and Lev, and you cut them down. And here's my thing. I talked about it last time. You and I have talked about it. The graphics of Abby in the first place, of how toned she is and how buff she is, to seeing Abby now, and she is skin and bones.
Mm-hmm.
Most video games, they just use the same character. They don't care about the detail. But Abby looks like she is on her deathbed because she's been tortured, and she's been in the reversal. She got her revenge, and she's just moving on, was going to go meet with the regroup in Catalina, and now she's captured and is just being left there to die. She realizes it's Ellie, but Ellie kind of saves her, and then she, she rescues her, and I'm like, is this it? So it's going to end in a happy moment? Well, then she threatens to kill Lev to get Abby to fight, and then they go off, start duking it out in the water, and just going back and forth, and then now you're in the position is where you were with Abby. You're fixing to finish off Abby as Ellie, and she has a change of heart. And then she says, "Get out of here," And I was thinking, my mind is just going back and forth. I'm like, somebody just kill somebody is what I'm thinking. I'm like, just somebody finish somebody. And then also she keeps looking back at the boat as Abby looks still confused, kind of in a way. Because at one point, I forgot who it was. Who was holding somebody underneath the water? Was it Ellie holding Abby?
Yeah, Ellie was holding Abby.
And I just knew that was it, because I was like, okay, it's going to stop. Well, then she, like I said, she lifts her up and lets her go. And then all of a sudden, and this time also, Ellie's bleeding out because she'd gotten punctured earlier in the scene.
Yeah.
So she's been bleeding out, been getting worse through the whole thing, which I thought that was amazing, that she's just getting worse and she's limping and stuff. And I thought she's fixing to die out right there in the boat. That's how it's going to finish for her. She knows she doesn't have the energy. She knows she could have killed her. She's just going to let her go. She's going to die. And then I thought, oh, somebody's going to shoot her from the top of the hill. Maybe there's somebody still up there. But she lets Abby and Lev go, and then all of a sudden you see her return to the farmhouse. She had fingers missing because those got bit off by Abby. And then Dina's gone. And the baby. I was worried that it was going to go back up to the top, and there's another character. I felt like it was going to be another character. I didn't feel like it was going to be Abby, but I felt like somebody else was going to be there, and they wanted revenge. That Abby had killed somebody that somebody wants revenge for now, and they're trying to go through. I don't know. I thought something else was going to give us a twist. And she finds Joel's guitar. You play a little strum, and then you see a flashback with him and her and Joel, and then they have like this big falling out, working it out with each other. And then the scene goes to the window, and you see her walking to the woods. And I don't know what to think about that scene. Like, I don't know if that means she's going to go off and live on her own. She's going to go find Tommy. She's going to find Dina. She's going to go find Abby. She's going to join Abby. Like, I felt like the first one, like the first one had me on a cliffhanger, but this one also, and I don't know how you feel about it, but this one feels like it was a cliffhanger to me too.
Okay, so here's the thing. Something I noticed, and could help me out with this if you remember. Okay, all of that happened. I think there's a few things that are representative. What happened and what it means. Okay, so the first time, Abby and her bunch, they spared Ellie because he told him, she said, "We let you live and you wasted it." That's what Abby told Ellie. And then again, Abby allowed Ellie and Dina to live, and that was because of Lev. Lev was like, Abby, I think that what that meant was, that just one little Abby was, if you kill them, you're no better than they are and what they've done.
Yeah.
And of course, Abby said, okay, don't ever let me see you again. And at that point, I was like, okay, they're going to go their separate ways. It's going to be over. It's like, you let me live. I let you, you let us live. We're done. And then, of course, you get to the end. And I thought that was significant too. That was the first thing in my head when she cut Abby down off that rope. I was like, oh my gosh, like Abby is so scrawny. And She cut her hair. You know, Abby had their signature braid. I was like, they're, you know, and it took away her identity. That's her identity, her muscularity, her braid. She's tough, you know, like built like an ox, as Tommy put it. And then she just looks at Ellie and she's like, "Oh, there's boats over here," like, and tells Ellie like, "I'm not fighting you," you know. And Ellie says, "You know, you're gonna fight me. Like we're fighting. Like we're ending this. Like you." But then, you know, Ellie had, like you said, Ellie has a change of heart, and next thing you know, she's back at the farmhouse, and you notice her pinky and her ring finger are missing, and on her left hand, and I was like, I wonder if that's significant in the fact that, especially with her walking away the way she did right there at the end, you see the pan out and you see her walking across the field towards the woods, and it's like I'm like with you, I was like, she's giving up people, love, everything. She'll, you know, her and Dina are never going to get to be together, and you know, with that ring, she can't wear a ring, right? I mean, I guess she could. She has a nub, but you know, I wonder if that was significant. That signified like Abby, like her love is not in her future. Like it's not her destiny. Her destiny is as a survivor, and you know, she's the only one in the world they know of is immune. Yeah, so she can't die by being bit unless they rip her throat out, which I had that happen several times during that game. But here's the thing, okay? She bit Abby.
Yeah.
And Ellie's infected. So I don't remember if Ellie ever said in the first game or the second game, I can't transmit it. I don't remember if that happened or not. I don't remember if she said that. I feel like I do. I feel like she did say that. She's like, I can't, like I'm infected, like I'm immune to it, like I can't get it and I can't give it. But because one of the guy in the jail cell who said, "Yeah, I know you're talking about. She's down by the pillars. She's probably already turned by now," which means there was a bite mark on her. So at some point, I think it was Ellie's, but
so they probably anybody who was bit or infected, they wouldn't put down there on the blocks to die. You think?
I don't know. But that's just one of the things that popped in my head. I was like, now wait a minute. Like Ellie bit her. Ellie's infected. That guy said that she was infected. And they're now she's down there on the pillars to die. So it makes me wonder: is Abby immune? And she doesn't know it because I think obviously she knew that Ellie was immune, and Ellie bit her.
So here's my thing. So now you drop back to her dad. Maybe he knew that she had the cure and he didn't want to kill her.
Yeah, because Nora, who was no, it was the Firefly. What was her name? Marlene.
Yeah.
Marlene asked him. He said, "What if it was your daughter? What would you do?"
Yep.
So it makes me wonder now. I think Abby was immune.
Probably was.
And she didn't know it. So Naughty Dog could make it. They could make a storyline out of that about out of Abby being immune if they ever do. So that was one of the things that really caught me, was like, or made me think, huh? Like, I wonder if she's immune too. And like you said, it makes me wonder if maybe there'll be a number 3, part 3 come out where Abby and Lev and Ellie meet back up, and that's this time they're going to work together as a team, because it's like they do have some common ground there. It's like it's like they could look at it. It's like they could look at each other and say, I didn't do this because I hated you. Like I didn't even know. I didn't know that Joel killed. I didn't know it was your dad that Joel killed. You know, I love Joel. Joe was like my dad. You killed Joe. I wanted revenge. And Abby could say, well, Joe killed my dad. I wanted revenge. You know,
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. It was personal, but nothing personally against one another, I guess. Well, it was, but not because they didn't have enough information. They didn't know the motives behind what they were doing, about what each other was doing, and so I think that would be a really great part 3 if they were able to do it, to have have Abby and Ellie team up and figure out. Maybe he's like, Abby's like, I'm immune too. We can do this. Like we can figure out a cure. Like we're both immune, so that means there's got to be a way to come up with a vaccine or a cure for this disease.
Like, you know, just thinking about several years ago, the director said they were not making a second video game unless they have the perfect storyline. And I have to say, the bringing in Abby, and it's not just like a story where you're Ellie and you've heard who Abby is and stuff like that. And like we talked about, we lived Abby's story for several days.
Yeah.
With flashbacks of her as a little kid and going back to Ellie over the last several years of her doing the walks around the mountains and stuff. Like we have lived Abby, and now we've grown to Abby's side. And then right there, those last few scenes, a tear between who do we want to win? Do we want somebody to kill somebody or not? And like overall, the only thing I had an issue with was, now they didn't focus on it the entire time, and that's fine by me, because I didn't want this to be a love story. I wanted this to be a Ellie, getting her revenge. Well, I wanted Ellie and Joel doing what they had to do, and obviously Joel didn't because he died. But I really didn't want them to focus on the love story, and they didn't. So I'm glad that they did that. But like some of the little cut scenes, of the drugs and things like that, I just thought, really, was that needed right now? Could they just not have smoked a cigarette or something? Like some of those scenes, did they really have to put those in there to make the story better? But overall, I thought the game was great. I plan on playing it again. I hope they do like a DLC pack like they did with The Last of Us, and kind of give us maybe a little, like they could even give us a story of Abby, of what she did from the time that her dad died, putting her group together. They could do that. We could do just Joel and Ellie, get some more of that action, or like a split between, like relive Abby and then boom, now you're in Joel and them for that time, like relive those years back and forth, kind of like we did. But like I said, they did leave it open. Like nobody knows what the fate of these people are. And maybe that's what they wanted to do until they could see if they could come out with a perfect storyline again. They might not, and just kind of say, oh no, it's settled. Abby got, they could just make up something off the top of their head. They probably already got that planned out now, that if anybody asks them questions, they go, oh no, Abby did this and did that. She got to meet up with the Fireflies, and Ellie's went off to yada yada yada. They might have those answers ready, but until then, they're still working on a script for a third one, and I don't know, but that's what I'm going to say, and I'm sticking to it. But I thought the game was still pretty good. It had me on the edge of my seat. I was still scared at the end of it, but I don't know. I thought it was great.
Oh man, I did too. You know, there were several times I stopped, took screenshots of what I was looking at on the during the game, just because I just everything about this game was excellent. I mean, the the battle sequences, the imagery, the character development, dialogue, storyline, the graphics, uh, you know, the clickers and everything, and, you know, stalkers and the bloaters and all those, you know, all the infected that they came out with, that especially that huge, massive one. Golly,
Oh yeah,
you know, design and just all of it, man. Just all of it just made it so much better to play. And it wasn't just a zombie game, you know, kill zombies. No, it was emotional. And it's like I said in the last podcast, like you like when you play through this, if you play through the first one and you play through the second one, when you get to that point where it culminates and you're like, and you literally, especially with like during Abby's storyline, you literally don't know how to feel because you completely understand why Abby did what she did. And well, I mean, for all her intents and purposes, like she was fine. Like after that, she went back to WF and to the Wolves and was living her life and under Isaac. And next thing you know, it's like you said, she's in Joel's shoes. She's been up with this kid that she develops a connection with, and and she betrays her own kin to help this kid. And now it's just her and Lev, and then just like it was just Joel and Ellie. Joel was just like, I'm just getting you to the Fireflies. I'm just getting you to the Fireflies. After that, and then no, it's like no, now it's Joel and Ellie. So they are very connected, and the way they developed that storyline and the character development throughout the game was nothing short of spectacular. It draws you in, it makes you feel what they feel, and just that divide. It's like, what the crap? How am I supposed to feel about this? Because you're sitting there playing as Abby, and you're sitting and you're facing Ellie. You're trying to kill Ellie, and you're like, what the heck? Like, this was not how this is supposed to be. Like, I'm not supposed to get. Like, I'm supposed to be Ellie. Ellie's the good guy. Is she though? Is Joel the good guy? These are the questions you're going to ask yourselves. If you're playing this game, or it's like, it's just people trying to survive.
Well, I'm looking at some pictures of Abby, like different outfits and stuff. And I'm looking at this picture of her, like you were talking about earlier, with her haircut and her muscle loss and stuff going. Like when I look at her and I think about, and all of a sudden my connection about the gameplay I have with her, like I feel bad for her. Like in that moment watching the game, and now just looking at this picture of her losing all her muscle because she is starved.
Yeah.
Like it's sad. In a way, I'm kind of like, Ellie, why didn't you just put her out of her misery,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So many thoughts are run through your head while playing the game, I just love games like that. Like I think The Last of Us is, up there my top 5 as far as franchise games go, or series games. That will always be one of my favorites, just because of that alone, just because of the storyline and the emotionality of it, and just how it pulls you in. It becomes more than just killing zombies.
It's not a zombie game in any means to me. Like it's
Yeah.
like there's a reason why, last time we talked, there's 261 Game of the Year awards to this game. Like it's not just a game. They've talked about it for years, Halo having their own movie and things like that, but they are already have the people lined up of who's playing Joel and Ellie in the Last of Us series. Like this is going to be big. I don't know what they plan on doing. If they plan on kind of reliving that game or how they plan on doing it, but I don't know. This is one of the few games that I've had that took me from the very beginning, and like I play Watch Dogs, I play Assassin's Creed, and I have my sports games, which those are not really storyline based, but
yeah.
But I like those games, but it's like I don't know. I just fell in love with that game, and then I've been waiting and waiting until finally I saw Naughty Dog post that thing at that E3 or wherever it was several years ago. And
I remember that.
play the little scene. You see a guitar being played, and you hear a voice, and then you see a shadow come in with a bunch of bodies laying around. And all of a sudden you see Ellie sitting on a bed, and then you see a side shot of Joel. He said, "You ready, kid?" And then that's when she says, "I'm going to kill every last one of them."
Yeah, I was
and all of a
hoping
sudden the whole crowd audience goes crazy, and I was like, they've done it. There's a second game, and I'm like, I just need to know, kind of like with the PlayStation 5, like just tell me when it's coming out, and that's what I've been waiting on. When I knew it was coming out in 2020, I was like, just tell me when it's coming out.
Yeah.
And whenever it's ready for pre-order that sucker. I was ready.
It was worth it, man. It's worth the gameplay. It's worth the 20 hours you're going to sit playing this game. And you're gonna, if anybody, I mean, just likes games like this, they're gonna love it. Even if you don't, I mean, I think anybody who plays this game would love this game.
Well, I would say personally, just watch your streams, my streams, follow the storyline.
Yeah.
Like I might not even play the game again, and I'd be willing to just watch our streams over and over again just to see the story. Kind of like my own movie. Like that's how much I liked it.
Yeah.
So
it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more?
No, like I said, if anybody who's listening or will listen, stop. If you don't want spoilers and you want to play the game, stop at the first few minutes and go play it. And then come back and listen. And, comment, tell us what you think.
Yes, please comment.
It's worth it. It's worth the play. It's worth it. Like I said, it is worth the 20 hours of gameplay. You're going to sit in front of your TV on your PS5, PS4, whatever it is, playing this game. I think you'll feel what we feel. I think you'll feel what they're even this just a game. I think you'll feel what they feel in the game. That's how good this game is. It's going to pull you in. It's going to frustrate the crap out of you because, especially depending on what mode you play it on, you'll get through it, and you'll get to those really, really emotional parts of the game. You might cry. You might just be like, "What the heck just happened?" Having all these feelings come up that I guarantee at the end of it, you're going to be like, "That was one of the best games I ever played."
And if not, this really wasn't your game.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some games that are not for everybody. Some people don't like sports games. Some people don't like shooters, Call of Duty, things like that. Even Assassin's Creed, or you've played one of them and it's kind of ruined you for the rest. But I don't know. It's again, I think this one and the first one are probably both in my top 5.
Yeah.
I have to
Me too.
say, like they might even be my top 2. And this is not, and though it's weird, this is not usually my cup of tea because I'm usually towards my superhero and my sports games. That's just who I am and how I play. And I would buy which NCAA football made an announcement they coming back with a new college game. So when when that hits, that's this is kind of how that's been. I used to be so excited for NCAA football and NCAA basketball, Madden, NBA, and now I've kind of branched off where I play Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs kind of got me hooked, and I bought the other 2. Same with Assassin's Creed. I haven't bought every Assassin's Creed, and there's some I like, some I don't. But I don't know. I was just really excited for The Last of Us, and I will keep my Last of Us copy and my Last of Us 2 copy, even though I have a PS5. I will keep those 2 copies for PS4 until they don't work anymore. So,
same here. So,
well, Ross, thank you for playing the game. I love it that I can share it with somebody because I know some people, they might get tired of me talking about it. I know talking about it with your sister and son, I know she kind of tolerates it and listens to my stories and stuff, especially when I don't remember if I stopped right after the scene, but the scene we're talking about where Abby and Owen made love to each other. I remember walking in the room and because like, oh, you done playing? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, okay. And I just sat there for a second and I was like, I saw my first video game boobies. And she just said, what? And I was like, just saw my first video game boobies. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know what to think. And so, but it has been great. Yeah, like I'm excited. I love rewatching it the much as I could when you live streamed. So that was like sometimes I was thinking, oh, he's been good. This guy's been come up, thinking jump out. So I hated all those times I look through a cabinet or something and there's nothing in there. I need a bullet. I need help. like some of these cabinets gotta have something. But it was good. Well, if anybody's listening, it will probably be Thursday, February 18th when you're listening to this. So look forward to our regularly scheduled podcasts of all of us. We'll be coming back this weekend, and we are tackling Marvel, the Marvel Universe. We are going to talk about anything that has been out, is currently out, and is coming out. And it can be TV shows, series, movies, comic books, doesn't matter. If it's Marvel, it's Marvel. So I'm really excited about that. So please, if you have anything you want us to talk about or you want to chime in, because right now Marvel has just introduced Winter Soldier and the Falcon series coming out. They've showed a trailer for that. Loki's fixing to come out. Black Widow's fixing to come out movie. But WandaVision's out right now. A few episodes in, a few more left. So if you want us to talk about that, if you have any scenarios or ideas, what you think is going to happen, any Easter eggs you've seen, and you want to comment, have us talk about it, talk with us on the show, anything, please feel free to contact us or message us at Titan Avenger Gaming, Lawdog Avenger Gaming. If you know any of our other guys personally, contact them and we will tackle your questions. So again, don't forget to follow, subscribe to Lawdog Avenger Gaming on Facebook and YouTube. Titan Avenger Gaming, that's me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. And then our podcast, they can be found on the Anchor website. They can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, numerous different outlets out there. Give us a follow on all of them. One of them doesn't matter, and subscribe. That way you get the alert every time that we do this. Hopefully we can start doing it more. I'm loving the little special edition ones that we're doing. Did one a couple weeks ago with your brother Ryan on who the GOAT is of the NFL. Thought that was kind of cool. So anyways, I think that's it. Looking forward to this week and more video games to come.
All right, man. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to more content. I think to start live streaming Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first time I've ever played that game. Looking forward to it. Just didn't want to go back right into another post-apocalyptic zombie type game. So I was like, that was pretty popular and back in the day, especially when the PlayStation 2 first came out, and it's cartoonish, it's action packed, it's fun. So kids be able to watch it. Anybody be able to watch it if they want to, but I don't recommend kids watch The Last of Us live streams. But this will be something that even kids can get into. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I might do that tonight. So you could see that on, live on YouTube tomorrow, or I may wait till tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. So, but anyway, looking forward to more special podcasts and regular podcasts, and to more content that'll be coming out from both of us, Lawdog Avenger Gaming, Titan Avenger Gaming. Like, subscribe, and follow. Give us a share too.
All right, guys. See y'all later.
See ya.